I'd like to call a work session order for March 17, 2025. First up is the 2025 strategic plan update for the police department to study and evaluate the creation of a real-time crime center.
I am Brian Nisset, the police chief for the Goodyear Police Department, and today we will be going over an action item that was placed in the FY 2025 strategic plan in regards to providing a safe and vibrant community. There has been multiple discussions about regionalization or regionalizing a real-time crime center. And while I know and understand the benefits, which would include sharing space, personnel, and especially costs can be appealing, there can also be drawbacks to this philosophy as well. While we have great regional partnerships with all of the West Valley law enforcement agencies through the West Valley Law Enforcement Training Academy, the Southwest Family Advocacy Center, or the West Valley Violent Incident Response Team, the Real-Time Crime Center is in an area that regionalization can become difficult. But why? So let's talk about some of the drawbacks, which I believe are number one, prioritization, number two, infrastructure, and number three, time, distance, and proximity. Which city gets the priority? That would be one question that I would have. How would you divvy up the resources? From an IT perspective, wherever the regional time center, real-time crime center is housed, the infrastructure they have is what Goodyear would have to utilize, even if it's not the standard of our own IT department, which could become problematic. Real-time crime center platform that we're looking at also allows for the migration of security systems that are owned by privately owned businesses or citizens, should they wish to participate in the program. Think of it as a virtual block watch. I believe the creation of our own real-time crime center to be at the forefront of our policing strategy for years to come. There is not only academic research and data to prove the efficacy of this type of asset to a city, but also to the community by providing victims a better response to in-progress incidents, as well as better results in clearing cases that might otherwise have gone unsolved.
How long do we store the data for? Do we need to get a server, or do we need other ways to keep it in the cloud, or how long do we keep that for?
Yeah, so we would follow the record retentions as allowed by statute. Right now, I know that we just, one of the strategic objectives for FY 24 when I came in was in reference to the intersection cameras and how we were accomplishing that task. I believe that we decided in that regard that we were holding the information for 180 days, but that I would defer to.
Pull down for police practices.
Yeah.
It's 100. Yeah, I'm sorry. I believe the day-to-day is more transitory. I believe 72 hours. I could be wrong, but once it's pulled for a police investigation, yes, then it goes to that longer period of time.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to think if we're seeing more, doing more with it, we need more storage capacity or things like that. So.
Mayor, I just wanted to clarify. I misspoke a few minutes ago. I looked at the records retention schedules. They're 14 days for the general traffic cameras under the Arizona Library's record retention schedule. That's what we adopted in our traffic camera policy as well. So it's 14 days, not 72 hours. If it's pulled down for law enforcement purposes, there's different retention schedules based on the type of the crime. But
okay, so just a correction there.
Yeah, just a correction. Thank you.
No, I'm looking. This will be good for our city. I think it'll be good for our residents, and I see the benefit of it. So looking forward to phase one. Thank you. I'm in support.
In our crime center that we are trying to build, we would have migration of all of our city cameras. So every intersection in our city has cameras that we would be able to pull data or video through. As well as any of the city-owned buildings. Now, most of the real-time crime centers also allow for private citizens and or businesses to partner. So essentially, imagine there's we'll just say an armed robbery at a Circle K. If we have a partnership with that Circle K, the operators or the tactical dispatchers would be able to access that camera footage immediately from that Circle K and be able to start providing real-time updates to the responding officers who are on their way to the scene. The whole idea of a real-time crime center is that you're trying to get information immediately to the responding resources so that they know what they're dealing with. I've seen it in practice when I was at Albuquerque PD, where they had, I forget the name of the Circle Ks that they had there, but at their convenience store. And so there was an armed robbery. Immediately, the dispatcher was able to pull up the video and say, yep, the suspect is running, northbound, and they're wearing these clothes. And then they also have the view of basically the global view of everything. The Real-Time Crime Center platform allows for the Real-Time Crime Center and the folks in there to see where all the resources are. And so they can say, hey, this car right here that's coming southbound on Litchfield Road, the suspect is running right towards your direction, and this is what they're wearing. So that is ultimately the I would say the higher level of what we're trying to do. There's also there's more strategic ways that we can use the Real-Time Crime Center as well, but that would be the general overview. Most jurisdictions that have this type of partnership with the community or with business partners, there's a log that anytime, let's say, we'll just go back to a Circle K incident. Anytime that we access a camera for a Circle K, we would have to denote the call for service or the incident number. We would have to denote what the reason was for us accessing that information. As well, speaking about phase 2, and we'll just say the drone as first responder program, I know that there are multiple jurisdictions that will actually post or have accessibility to the community online for any drone deployments, and what the incident number was, what the route was that the drone took, and so it's just being transparent with the community for the use of this system.
A network security standpoint, who, like, in a generalized sense, who has access on our end, and just kind of the vulnerabilities there, I want to make sure we're looking at as well, any care that's been in there. I guess there's training involved, I'm sure, but are there a limited number of employees within your department, sworn officers within your department, that would have access to the data from the Real-Time Crime Center?
So, Mayor Pizzillo and Councilmember Terry, I would say yes. The whole primary goal of this is for the accessibility to be in the Real-Time Crime Center, and so I can also defer to Director Fazian from IT, and she can help answer that question as well from the IT standpoint.
Thank you. I just want to make sure have everything covered. I'm new to this, so
we've been working in concert together on this project.
Thank you, Mayor and Council, and Councilmember Terry. Yes, we would have segregated networks so that there wouldn't be that over hours, and it would have separate security access for all PD staff, and Chief would have access as to whom had that ability.
I guess my last one, you brought up the drone, the DFR, that's drone response?
Drone is first responder.
Okay, drone first responder. How does that kind of work in process or in practice?
Great question. So, we're talking about high tech at its finest, and these are all really great questions, and I know this is a big investment for our city, and so I don't mind answering any question, because everybody at the table should feel comfortable walking away knowing exactly what this technology does. The drone as first responder, there's basically, there's two, I would say, main companies out there. One has a drone that will go up. The drone flies at about 45 miles per hour-ish. And so it can go up. It has about a flight time of 45 minutes. It will be up for enough time for patrol to respond. It comes back to home base. It's kind of like a NASCAR pit stop. Robot takes the battery out, puts a new one in, and it's back up into the air. That's one of the ways that this particular drone works. The other company, it uses more of a beehive type approach where a drone will go up. It has about a 20-minute flight time. As the battery's powering down and you can tell that it's ready to come back to home base. The next one will go up. It will, again, keep eyes above, and they just keep rotating. It takes about 20, that one takes about 20 minutes for the battery to charge. And so, but ultimately, either company, the drone has a zoom capability up to a mile away. It's like 5K HD. You can read license plates from a mile away if you need to, and so.
So the idea is to be able to get a drone in the air over the incident or whatever it may be, even before the officers get there. If that's
That would
a lot
be-
of times, especially with how long north-south our city is. That's
Yes.
understandable. Okay.
That
And
would
then-
definitely be the optimum.
So I am 100% on board, but I would like to know, I have a couple of questions. I wanted to know, did I miss the cost of this, the total cost, or what the cost would be for phase 1 and phase 2? Because obviously we need to know that.
Yes.
That was not part of the presentation, but we will make sure that if the council wants this, phase 1, we will get it in the budget. And it's the personnel cost plus the TI improvements needed for the.
Don't we need to know the cost, though, to adopt this?
We can give you, yes.
Do you have a rough guesstimate?
Jared?
I'd
I don't
like to know
have it
what
at
I'm
my
voting on.
Yeah, I don't have it at my fingertips, but Jared has something.
We're not voting, but I'm just stating, I'd like to know the cost before I say, yes, I think this is a good idea.
Thank you. Mayor Pizzillo,
Let's listen to this guy.
Councilmember Gillis. The estimate we have right now for the ongoing portion is about $1.4 million, and we're working on that. About a third of that is actually the software costs, and then we have the personnel as well. We do have a CIP project that we're working out. It's going to be a little over $500,000, but we're still working on the details of that to include in the recommended budget.
So 1.4 plus the 500,000?
Correct. The operating costs are
The 500,000 is one time.
One time.
correct.
Okay, and so is the 1.4 split between phase 1 and phase 2? Is that per phase?
That is phase 1.
Phase 1. So what is phase 2?
We don't have a phase 2 cost because we didn't have that as part of the 26 budget, but we can get that number for you.
Yeah, I would like to know that. But phase 1 would be 1.4 and then 500,000 for the first time, one-time cost. That would come at the same time.
It would come in my recommended budget if the council supports this phase 1 tonight.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, so that sounds good, Brian. I think Chief has said, that sounds great. I'm all for it, 100%. 100%. I was for it 2 years ago. I think it's a great thing and be great for our city.
I guess one would be pure geography. We're about 7 miles wide. So anybody who does bad things is going to go north, east, and west in a quick hurry. And so how do you have continuity when they can get out of your city in a pretty quick time? And I would say when you look at the Glendale Real Crime Center, I would say your disadvantage is the prioritization, the time and distance is definitely a factor. But we have neighbors, Avondale, Buckeye, who we often share criminal activity with. Did we explore that as an option? So could you delve into that a little bit more?
Sure. Mayor Pizzillo, and Councilmember Kano. So yes, throughout this process, I've been talking with all of our regional law enforcement partners. Right now, as it is, the relationship specifically in the Southwest Valley between Buckeye PD and Avondale PD. I just had coffee this morning with Chief Espinoza from Avondale. So we have ongoing discussions. Right now, Avondale is looking towards their own partnership that they're working with Glendale.
Okay.
And Buckeye PD is, we really haven't gotten too far with that. Not to say that they wouldn't be, that they wouldn't want to, but right now that is, that's just kind of where we are with our neighbors, if you will.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So with the question of people having the ability because of I-10 and in the future SR30 to get out of our city really quickly, how does the continuity happen once of where they are, what they're doing once they leave our city boundaries?
Yeah, so Mayor Pizzillo and Councilmember Kano, that's, that's really occurring right now as we speak. We do have great partnerships, and so, anytime that we actually do have a suspect leaving our city that we have actual physical eyes on, we're always in contact with either Buckeye PD if they're heading west, Avondale PD if they're heading east, DPS if they're jumping on the I-10.
Yeah.
Just recently we had a suspect that we had a case on. They were on the I-10. We ended up catching them at the 60 and almost Gilbert Road. We had constant connectivity with all of our law enforcement partners all the way east to include the Phoenix Police Department Air Unit assisting us with the apprehension. So.
Okay, so you're doing it anyway, and it, okay.
Yes.
One of the things that Glendale said is that they also involved getting community meetings and community input, because the fact is when you have cameras at intersections, it encompasses where people live and such. Is that a part of the plan to involve the community in any kind of discussions?
Mayor Pizzillo and Councilmember Kano, my idea was once we got approval to move forward, on the one slide I talked about having this virtual block watch concept. I think that's really where we can leverage having community meetings and bringing our community into the fold for those who want to participate, and just educating those that might not want to participate, but still giving them the education of what this center does and what it doesn't do. We're not just linking into cameras and just looking at things for no reason. There's always going to be a reason, and it's always going to be documented for full transparency.
I think public education will be helpful. I mean, certainly even with the flock cameras, with everything that we're doing that brings technology to a new level, that gets interpreted differently by different individuals, but certainly is a very effective tool. And Goodyear has always been very proactive in crime solving and not just saying, oh, well, they're gone. We're very persistent, and I think that's a reputation that we want to continue to do. Any grants available for any of this?
Mayor Pizzillo and Councilmember Kano. We are constantly looking for grant funding, and if we can secure any of that, we definitely would seek to do that for either phase 1 or phase 2.
All right, my last question. I know that another big project that we've talked about for public safety and considering regionalization as well, is a training center. So how does this project compare to that? Do you have a priority?
We will be bringing that back to council for further discussion as to what that might look like. I believe we're coming back on the 24th in executive session on that particular one.
Okay, very good. Just lot of money out there to be spent. We just had that integrated water plan, a lot of money, needs to be invested in a lot of different important infrastructure, and certainly this is infrastructure too. Thank you.
And we are seeking our partners with the Regional Training Center, and we do have the bonding capacity there.
Right.
So working to stretch those dollars to, and ensure we're being conservative and getting things that we need.
I mean, I think I know. I may not know. I don't know what I don't know. But it seems to me that they're already doing it, and I was very concerned that we're not doing it because everybody was so hot to trot last year to get this thing going. But this really is public safety at its best, and this is what we need to do for this city. I'm assuming all of the cameras will be at the larger intersection. They're not going to infringe in the neighborhoods because we don't really have traffic lights, and this is basically where the cameras are. Am I correct? Or at least that was the impression I got for Glendale.
Mayor Pizzillo, Vice Mayor Campbell, I would defer to Director Cinto on that, but I'm fairly confident that the cameras are at all of the lighted intersections.
Right, that's right, where there's traffic lights anyway.
Mayor, council member, yes, I can confirm at the intersections where we have the point tilt zoom cameras. Those
Sure.
are the ones that they would have access to.
Okay, I know that those cameras don't infringe into their homes. They don't look in their windows. They do look in their cars as they're underneath them, and so we're also used to it. I think once we explain to the citizens what we're doing, they're going to feel maybe a more sense of security.
What is the CAD system that we're working off of right now?
Mayor Pizzillo, Councilmember Gillis. So right now we have Tyler New World that we're currently utilizing.
Okay, so we're going to get a new system when we do this. We're going to upgrade. Is that part of the?
So Mayor Pizzillo, Councilwoman Gillis, we're actively looking at that as a CIP item, but this would be different than the Real-Time Crime Center platform. Initially, we would integrate what we currently have into the platform.
Right.
Eventually, down the road, we would like to transition to a different CAD RMS system, but that would be down the road as a CIP item.
Okay, so my worry is that we're working on a subpar system when we put this kind of money into this. So do we need to update that first before we do this? I mean, can we rely on this? Is it steady, the system you've got now?
Yeah, so Mayor Pizzillo and Councilwoman Gillis, yes, what we have right now, it definitely will suffice. It's not as robust as some of the other CAD RMS systems that are out there currently, but it's the conglomeration of data that comes into the platform, and that gives us the ability to still see everything in that real-time realm that we're looking at for this project.
Would it be beneficial, just a question, would it be beneficial to include that, to do it all at the same time? How much more money is that to do something like that? Pardon me?
I said, what are you talking about? This is not on this, and I don't know what a CAD system is. I don't understand this conversation.
Well, you can have your time with him next. That's
No,
why
I'm just asking.
Well, since I've got the floor right now, can I finish what I'm talking about?
Certainly.
So do you want to explain that to her so she understands?
Mayor Pizzillo, Vice Mayor Campbell, a CAD system is a computer-aided dispatch system, and a RMS is a records management system. So those are essentially what we use to dispatch officers to the scene, and then the back end of the records management that holds our reports, that holds our criminal database on offenders, and that we use for prosecution.
So that does have to do with what we're talking about, correct?
It does towards, the integration of it. We need to find the software for the grit. I want to start calling it grit. And get that implemented, and then we can evaluate the need for upgrading
Right.
at that point. Because if we
My
go ahead and
concern is for the cost overall, since that's what we're talking about
Yes.
tonight.
the
It's
cost to update the Tyler system will be significant.
Okay.
And is there a need, my question would be, is there a need to update it until we get the software
That's
in
what
the,
I'm
in the
asking.
grit? We don't have that information until we get the grit up, or real-time crime center,
Okay.
get that software running, and then we can determine, is there a need to do that? And if there is, we will explore that and what steps we need to take.
And we wouldn't have problems getting the extra money for that. That's what you're saying. We would be able to find that.
We'll work, if that's council's direction, we would work to figure that out.
Okay, because that's what I'm concerned about, is the cost. Okay, that's great. Thank you.
Well, you got great discussion all the way around. I think you've got a plan to kind of move forward on there. The only thing I ask is if you can give me a Gantt chart of what you think this process would start and finish for phase one, the time, and each step along the way is what you expect to accomplish on that. That would be very, very helpful. Okay? I know we have one-on-ones coming among all of us. A lot of this numbers is going to be explained to us at that point. And we still have some more voting when it comes to the budget, when we all get together to do that. So hopefully you'll be really precise on all of those pieces of your request, and all the department head directors will be precise on their request on what they're asking for in the money. And with that, I appreciate it. It's a great presentation, and it's something that we need. I think some of the biggest concerns out there, and I don't think we have a whole lot in our neighborhood, because I know with Glendale, the concern was whether some of those cameras would be able to look into somebody's backyard. Because at some of those intersections, you got homes that are really close to that. So that's going to be one of the concerns where we set that. I don't think we have that much of it where we are, where you see the lights. Now, there's some on Bullard up towards Indian School that you might want to be careful with, because there's a lot of homes around there that right up against those. So again, I know that was some of the concerns they had with that. So with that, thank you, Chief.